Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? Let's go. Hey. Yeah, this is my life, my strife, my right to fight, to die on. And this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name, And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done. But what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? I guess I'll try this, try that, might miss, gotta find what I'm good at. I guess I look here, look there, over where am I scared, where am I at? I gotta make it in this life, whatever makes me happy, know I'm doing things right. Sipping in the summer on a goose and Sprite, or find a nightclub for the end of the night, And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe we can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
Hello, everybody. Let me see if I can never time it good.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in.
I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit.
All right, good. Look, I was able to do that. That's pretty good, right, guys? Appreciate your patience here. Hold on. Let me get this thing off the screen. Okay. There we are. Hi, guys. Hi, welcome to the living room live from my couch. Okay. It's really exciting over here. My name's Jennifer. Channel is Post Woke World. And, I've been trying to figure out, what is my channel actually about? Because I started off with true crime stuff, and I still go back to that. But I do politics. I do a lot of things. And what I realized is I like to evaluate things from a systems perspective. I'm like a systems analyst, I guess. That's not my job title. It's just kind of what my instinct is. I always just kind of zoom out and look at things because I crack myself up, as you've seen in my lives. Jimmy actually, let me bring that up. So a couple things have happened. Let me start with a little bit of structure first. A few things have happened recently. Okay. So this past week, Auntie Deb, also known as Jimmy, that's his real name, but Auntie Deb, made a comment in one of my lives, or made a comment under one of my lives that it was like the best live he'd ever seen. Now, obviously, that's a little bit of hyperbole, right? And in fact, I thought it might be irony because he thought it was the worst live he'd ever seen. But I then found out that actually he really did like it because he mentioned me briefly. Not even briefly. I mean, honestly, guys, I was so shocked. He mentioned me at the end of one of his videos because I made a comment to him like, don't do it, because he was talking about doing something he shouldn't. And I mean, I was just floored. It caught me off guard. And honestly, like out of the most thing I was is grateful. Truthfully, I was just grateful because I've been kind of, when you're watching different cases, there's a certain ecosystem that's there. There's certain creators that are popular and that kind of thing. And I've been watching Auntie Deb. I've been watching Jess Machado. I've been watching Turtle Boy. Obviously, it's the first one I got involved watching. I've been watching The Glare. I've been watching Melanie Little. I'll be honest, I never watched the Young Jerks, like ever, like never found him interesting. I'm not shitting on the guy. I just didn't find his show interesting whatsoever. And the same as LTL. I just never found his personality palatable for me, right? For me, as Jimmy says. But anyway, Jimmy saying those things, it's like, it was just, I really felt like I was in another universe, and I'm not trying to fangirl, but I'm fangirling. And that's exactly what I want to bring up, which is like these parasocial things and what they do to us and how we feel this over how we can sometimes feel this sense of familiarity with people that we really truly don't know in real life. We just know them from online interactions. Now, I think you can tell a lot from people by the way they, behave online and how they speak and how they present themselves, but it's still really hard to know anybody unless you actually know them, like you're hanging out and stuff, right? But the same time that happened, then Jess was offline for a few days, right? Like Jess, our parasocial bestie, as I was following the last few episodes, which I'm moving on from now because I don't want to just focus on one person. I'm definitely not trying to, I don't want to orbit a person or focus on a person and make them feel like I'm being critical of them, because I'm not. I'm actually being critical of myself. This is like me looking at the things that interest me and why, right? It's like a meta petty stream. It's like a meta awareness of being petty. I don't know if that's what it is, but moving on. Okay. I just want to talk about the people in the movement, not the escalation, when Jess stepped away for a few days, she went to Cape Cod, and that's because it was her daughter. I think it was Mashpee in Cape Cod. I'm pretty sure it was her daughter's wedding. So like, there's a void that develops, right? When you've got a creator system where there's people showing up all the time, and then all of a sudden somebody's gone for a couple days, a void will present itself, and then what's going to fill the void? A bunch of petty nonsense, right? Like that's genuinely what happens. People want to fill in the blanks. They feel this way, so that other person must feel this way, right? And in reality, we have no clue how they feel, right? So, well, that's not true. Jess always tells us how she feels, but I'm just saying, like when it comes to other people involved here, and I don't want to mention names because I just feel like that. I'm not trying to criticize people. I'm trying to talk about the dynamic. So Jess being away, it's not like she just disappeared. We knew where she was going. I mean, she told us what she was doing, and obviously she should do that. She should take off for her daughter's wedding. She should be gone for 4 or 5 days. But what happens when when these people step away, like I said, there's a void, and ecosystems don't like that, right? People who are following this shit every day don't want a void. When there is a void, it will be filled, whether it's by somebody else, whether it's some loudmouth trying to start shit, who knows, right? But it gets filled because people want to entertain themselves. And some people are not that, they don't have great values, I guess. Some people just like to cause shit for the sake of causing shit, right? I mean, and I get it. You do you, boo-boo, but keep it far away from me because I have no fucking energy for that kind of stuff. Like, I have no energy for that shit. All right, guys, can you? These are two of my dogs. I don't know if you see, there's another third one sitting right here. That's Winston. All right, hey, Fabia, hold on for 1 second. Guys, come over here. There's a whole house. There's a backyard you can go play in. Do you need to, I know you want to be on the camera. It's okay. All right, guys. Can we calm the fuck down, please? Sorry. All right. So anyway, back to this. Okay. What I'm trying to say is when this void happens, people fill it in, okay? And it's interesting how, like, we feel like we need to pick a side, right? Like, there's this tribal instinct in humans where, oh my gosh, like, my parasocial bestie is being attacked by somebody in the ecosystem. And so I need to take a side and I need to determine, based on the very limited information I've been given, who's at fault and who's the bad guy. People do this very quickly online. Okay. Like in a matter of like a minute. Okay. Um, it started with, I'll just mention a couple names. This is only because I want people to understand what I'm talking about. And it's not to be critical of anyone. For example, Val, and I even talked about this in my last thing, a woman named Val, who I said, I don't know her. I know of her. And I have no feelings about her bad, like no bad feelings about her. Okay. Like anybody that I don't know, I haven't seen her tweets. Like I can't even say like, oh yeah, I've seen her tweets. She's sassy or whatever. I don't think I've even seen her tweets. I know she started like I heard her on the phone with Turtle Boy once and they were going at each other. And I thought it was cool because Turtle Boy was willing to listen to a different side and she was brave enough to go up there and tell what she felt. So to me, that was cool. That's all I really know of her. Apparently there's some like subtext going on here in some of these comment sections I don't pay a lot of attention to, but I saw the effect of it this past week when Jess was gone with Jeffsy, which was Val had posted something. It was some screenshots from her and Auntie Deb, right? And I even commented on this and I said, me personally, if I have a friend or whatever, and I'm texting with them and then they post screenshots of our conversations without my knowledge, that's a problem for me. That's me though. That has nothing to do with Jimmy or Val or Jess, right? Like I don't know what their standards are or what, you know what I mean? Like everybody, listen, when it comes to friends, I've always taught my kids, everybody has limitations. Every friend you have has a limitation. Nobody can be everything for you. So you have to decide like, what is this? Every person has limitations. I have many limitations, right? So like, you have to decide like, what am I willing to put up with, right? In a friendship, the fact that like, I have a friend who every time I would invite her to go out, she would always be late, just like chronically late, right? Like no matter what, I'd say be there at 7, I'd be there at 7:45, she's rolling in, right? So then I started telling her, I started changing it and I would say, be there at 7:30. And it was really for 8:30. And then I would show up late, right? So you can play stupid games like that. But at the end of the day, like, you just deal with the limitation or you say, look, like, girl, you're great, but I can't hang with people like that. It's too much of a pain in the ass. For me, it was worth it because she's a good friend. And the truth is I do the same shit. And listen, I sometimes blame it on the fact that I'm sober and maybe it had something to do with my addiction, but I don't like to commit to things. It's very hard for me to commit to things. And I don't know why, it's one of those things I'm still trying to figure out. And then also, wow, that was a long tangent. Let me get back to what I was talking about. Let me bring it back. Let me bring it back to the subject. Pep's up next. Pep's on the set. Got me working up a sweat. Okay. Back to the subject. So Val puts that up there. How I feel about whatever, it doesn't matter. And whether she asked Jimmy or not, doesn't matter. I'm just saying, as a parasocial participant, you're looking at that and I'm like, I don't know if that's cool, but whatever. Okay. And I read it and I was like, I don't know what this is. It doesn't sound that serious. And then, and then people felt certain ways about it. Right. And Jess addressed it on her show and she said that she and Jimmy had talked and that was the end of it. But then she mentioned it a second time and she said she doesn't know if she's okay with it. And that's okay too. Like Jess can take a while to figure it out. And that doesn't make Auntie Deb or Val or anybody else a bad person. I guess what I'm trying to say. It's interesting. Like, I feel like loyalty is okay to have, but you don't want to have the hostility is what's concerning to me, right? Like, it's good to be loyal to people. Loyalty is huge for me. Like, what's it? Mario Puzo says, the strength of a family is in its loyalty. Like for me, there's nothing higher than loyalty. Like, well, truth. truth is higher, but loyalty is really important. Like especially with friendships and stuff. So I don't like people sharing things that I share with them, or telling people things I tell them, because I don't like to share a whole lot. And so when I do, if you're going to use that as social currency to buy some type of clout or something within my circle at work, or in the neighborhood or online, like that's a big turn off for me. I just don't like that at all. And I see that so far away. Like I see it so far away. I can't unsee it, unfortunately. That's my personality. So that's how I feel about it. But that doesn't mean other people should feel the same way. And it's not my business. That's the last thing. You could say, well, it is your business because people are online to an extent, but I'm not going to allow myself to get all worked up over and start being like, oh, Auntie Deb was mean, Val's mean, you're making Jess upset. Like when people start doing that type of dynamic, it gets really messy and escalates quickly. And what I see and what I feel is important to recognize is, if we all just sat down right here in my living room right now, like me, Auntie Deb, Val, and Jess, it would be resolved in minutes. If you just all sat, it'd be a joke, right? It'd be like, really? Like, that's what you thought? Oh, no, I didn't mean that. I thought you were a bitch. Well, you're a bitch too. That's cool. Let's be bitches. Like, it wouldn't really be a thing. But because it happens online and we have different ecosystems, it makes itself bigger than it actually is. And it drags on. And it's like, you have, as a adult, I look at it and I'm like, come on, guys, just knock it off and move on. Let's get back to the creativity and fun. You know what I mean? I'm not above it. Okay. So like, this is not me preaching, saying I know better. Let me explain to you what's happening here. I'm not above it. Okay. I'm just not. All right. I told you, I actually called Jess. She gives her number up, but still I called her and left her a message about her husband's health, because I'm a PA and I felt this need, like I was the only one that could give her this information. It's stupid. I was being stupid. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, knock it off. Like, she has tons of people she can ask for help. If she wanted my help, she could call me, but I'm not waiting for that, or even I would be shocked. And that's not what I'm trying to do here, I guess is the point. What I'm trying to say is, I am in the same situation. So I'm not like above this. I'm recognizing it. For example, when this all happened, I was like, I'm thinking Auntie Deb is awesome. Jess is awesome. And what's going on? And I kept thinking, what's going on? I wish they would tell us. And then I'm like, why am I focused on this? Like, this is their friendship, And so that's the parasocial interactions there. And I guess all I'm trying to do with this analysis is encourage people to reflect on their own behavior and maybe wonder, like, in the real world, like, it's kind of like when you get behind the seat of a car and you're driving down the road and people turn, these people, right? I mean, my own mother is one of these people. Everything's chill, very nice, cool, whatever. And then you get behind the wheel and suddenly everybody's a motherfucker. Get the fuck out of my way. You're a dumbass. Beeping. That kind of stuff, right? And it's just like, it's like a light switches on. It's like, okay, like, and there's a lot of people like that. Me, I'm not like that. I don't beat my horn unless somebody's about ready to like knock into me. That's the way I use a horn. I hate loud noises like that. It irritates the fuck out of me when people beep their horn or when they start screaming and stuff. This has come with age. I wasn't always like that. But the point I'm trying to make is the same thing as being behind the wheel. It's like, you're real tough, right? Driving around in your car. Although my mother is tough and I'm afraid of her. So let's just get that straight. My mother would kick my ass still, and probably all of yours. It wouldn't be hard. But regardless, a lot of these people aren't tough and they're mouthing off. And then they get out of their car and it's like, they got nothing to say. Right. And that's how I view people online, with their big fucking yappers going blah, 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 blah. This is what I fucking think of Jess and her marriage. And this is what I think of Auntie Deb and how he handles things. And this is what I think about. They're just yapping, 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 yapping into the wind. Most people honestly aren't even paying attention to them. They're just yapping to say it. There's no reason to fucking say it. They just feel the need to be hostile. Right. So I'm just asking, like, as adults, if we can all just, step back and reflect on how we're interacting. Now, you can tell me to fuck off, and that's fine too. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to me. So I just want to kind of start off with that. I'm going to check the comment section and we'll move on from here a little bit. Hold on for a minute. Hi, Jane. Hi, Doc. It escalates, right? Oh, that's so funny, right? Somebody said in my comment section the other day, having a dog is essentially both of you following each other around saying, "What's in your mouth?" And I was like, that's so true. It's so true. It was like a delayed effect, you know? So nice to see you guys here. I appreciate you guys. So basically that was the tea. Auntie Deb had a great stream today. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you go check him out. He's going to the throne. He's getting the throne soon, I think. I've already told him a couple times, you know, I know you don't know me, but you could definitely hang here on the way to Brooklyn. I'll go to Brooklyn with you if you want. I don't mind U-Hauls. U-Hauls are awesome. How many times I've moved? You know what else I've used in a pinch? If you really need something in a pinch and it's cheap, is the freaking Home Depot trucks. This is only for people in America. I don't think they have Home Depot in Canada. Do they? I'm not sure. I don't know if they do. Anyway, yeah, the Home Depot truck, you can rent it to allegedly move shit from Home Depot to your home, but I would rent it and go to like Marshall's and pick up furniture and take it to my house. One time I rented a Home Depot truck to go to Lowe's and pick up shit and take it home. That was funny. And they're cheaper because it's only $20, but you can't do it with what Jimmy's doing because he's going all the way from Boston to Brooklyn. And yeah, so and you have to be wary of the roads you're on because the U-Hauls, like some of those things can only be on certain roads. If you need any help with it, let me know. Okay, so let's look at this, guys. You guys need to see this again, okay? This is the Nido thing. I showed this in my last live. This thing is it's not like a regular, guys, this is totally different than a regular squishy ball, okay? It's not the same. You might think it's the same. It's nothing like regular squishy balls. It's called Nido. Needoh. Look it up. If you don't believe me, look these things up. They're insane. People go crazy for these things. There's all different like sizes. There's long ones. This sounds like I'm describing something a little salacious, but it's just this, guys. It's very, I can't describe it. It's like you just want to keep, it's just so comfortable. Last night I fell asleep with it. It was kind of weird. It was like right next to my head when I woke up. It was like this. So like on one side I had this, and then on the other side I had Winnie's little head. His little head was like right here, and I rolled over this side and it was a Nido, and this side it was like Winnie was kissing me. So it was pretty cool to wake up like that. Anyway. So let's talk about what a micropene Tim Poole has. Let's talk about Tim Poole and what a micropene he has, okay? You guys familiar with Tim Poole? Yeah, you rent by the hour. Exactly, right? The dogs want to be creators too. They want to be famous. Do you guys want to be famous doggos? Huh? I'm telling you, I had no idea how loving Great Danes are. It's I can't explain it. Anyway, moving on. Tim Poole has a micropene. That is the name of this section. Hi, Needsums. What's up? Welcome. I like the doggo. We love dogs here. I have 3 of them in my living room. Tim Poole has a micropene. Here's why. So basically, Turtle Boy, you're looking for a Great Dane puppy. I'll see if I'm going to ask my friends if they know anybody that's selling. They're just precious. Right. I don't watch Tim Poole either. I mean, I used to watch him. You know what? I can't even say I used to watch him. I've always just kind of known who he is, but I'll be honest, I can't tolerate him. And the other thing that annoys me, and this is just This is just me being a human, guys. I can't stand that he won't take the beanie off. He's not going to take the beanie off because he's bald. Dude, take the fucking beanie off. Go to Turkey. It's not that expensive. You can go to Turkey and get hair and transplant it into your head, and it works really good. And it's way cheaper than it is in America. Now, I get it. Turkey isn't the best place to go right now because of the geopolitical situation. So you might not want to do that. But I mean, I'm just saying though, like the beanie it's too much. All right. But moving on from that, that's not why I don't like Tim Poole. You know, I don't like Tim Poole because he has a micro peen. And he just has no balls. Hey guys, can you not please? No. Can you not chew on my, please? No. It's not okay to do that. Okay. You guys are destroying the rug. Is that okay can you not do that? All right, lay down. Come on, baby. Lay down. You got to calm down. Okay. Oh, I always feel bad when he's going to itch himself because his back paw, it goes to, and he can't do it. Hold on. I have to scratch it for him. Hold on. Come here. Let me scratch it for you. I got you, baby. Oh, I got the scratchies. Yeah, you know. I can see him with his like back leg trying to like scratch up by his elbow, which by the way, if you look at the anatomy, sorry, this is a little tangent. We'll get back onto the micropene Tim Poole. But if you look at the anatomy of Great Danes, right? I was looking at his legs and stuff. Like he had in the front, he has these elbows, right? And it's like they're walking on their tippy toes, essentially. Great Danes are essentially walking. They're like ballerinas, always walking on their tippy toes. It's just really funny to me. What's the matter? Hi. You want to say hello? What are you doing? He thinks this is something to eat. This is not for you to eat. Thank you. There you go. Nothing wrong with the bald either. That's why I'm saying it though, because I get, you know what it is? And look, I have the same thing. We all have our issues, right? I agree. Nothing wrong with a bald man, but just like, don't be ashamed of yourself. I guess what I'm trying to say is don't be ashamed of yourself. He's going to be, hey. No. He's like 9 months old right now. He's 9 months old. And he's so sweet. It's just like crazy. And then Winston, no, you can't bite Winston. No. Be a good boy. Winnie he's a COVID dog. Winnie's about 4. He's King Cavalier mini poodle mix. Winnie's the best little boy. And then Josie is 2. All right. So anyway, Tim Poole. Poole and puppy madness. Exactly. Welcome to this chaotic room here. Okay. And I also have a cat too, which is here. I'll show you the cat. But Tim Poole. Yeah. So let's talk about Tim Poole, but hopefully you can see. Let me see if you can see my cat here. Can you see? No, I just have you right on his butt. All right, hold on. Let's get back to the cat. There's the cat. I hope you saw. Okay, anyway. So, Tim Poole's micropene, essentially. Oh, those are beautiful. Oh my God, that's awesome. A COVID dog too. Yeah, Dachshund. Yeah, it's so cute. And Doc Terry has a lot of dogs too. And she has a page on Facebook for it. Yes. Yeah. They're just good. Keep the vibes high. So Tim Poole, yeah, he I mean, I'm joking when I say he's a micropene. I'm not a big fan of his because I feel like he's a sellout. I'm just going to be honest. Like, do I have proof of it? I mean, I could go through things and offer to you. You can make your own opinion. I just feel like Tim Poole's a sellout. Regardless. The point is he canceled Aiden Carney's appearance. That's why we're talking about him today, because otherwise we wouldn't. So he's a real asshole to everyone else. I love it. Denzel. Oh, I love that. That's a great one. You hear him talking? Anyway, So Tim Poole, okay, he was supposed to have Turtle Boy on last night, and they canceled it. Why did they cancel it? 2 hours. I'm gonna be back to the comments section in a few minutes, okay, guys? Just because I don't want to. Otherwise, I'll never get my point across, and I'll just sit here and chill, which is fine too. But anyway, Tim Poole canceled. He was going to have Turtle Boy on. Now, this was interesting because I heard in a comment section yesterday, how did they know? How did the House defendants know that he was going to be on that show? Because Tim Poole does not announce his guests beforehand. Well, they knew because unfortunately Turtle Boy announced it on his show. That's what happened, right? Turtle Boy announced it on his show, like maybe the day before he left, which is fine. He's allowed to do that, but it sucks because if he didn't announce it, they wouldn't have known and he would have been on there, right? That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's how I read it. He didn't think, and that's a thing, a larger issue I want to talk about with regarding Aiden right now, in terms of just ways to support him because he's in for a big fight, and I'm not pessimistic about it. But it's going to be a big deal. This fight is going to be bigger than we thought, maybe, because we've got Chris Maddie, who is the former attorney, or who is the attorney who was representing the plaintiffs against Alex Jones in that Sandy Hook scenario. And a lot of people have a lot of thoughts on that, but you should really look into it before you just assume Alex Jones should have paid all that money. The court, if you watch any of the trial, you'll see that judge, if she's even a real judge, was probably worse than Bev. Honestly, she was really bad. The rulings that they made, it was unbelievable. They really fucked over Alex Jones. If that was even a real court hearing, I'm just saying. So my concern is, why is this guy, Chris Maddie, someone who's been on the national stage before when it comes to free speech, defamation, stuff like that, why is this guy putting his hat in the arena here in terms of the defamation case? Why is this guy coming forward? Well, if nothing else, we can say Chris Maddie is not for the First Amendment. That part is clear. He worked to bankrupt Alex Jones. And whatever you may think about Alex Jones, okay, you got to think about this. Alex Jones and Turtle Boy are similar in a lot of ways in that they're kind of like controversial figures. They're loud. They're able to mobilize people and things like that. And what happens is whenever there's people like this, and whether you like Alex Jones, Turtle Boy, or somebody else, okay, whenever you have people like this that are not elected officials, because none of the elected officials have enough fucking charisma to do this, okay? So if you're not elected and you're able to mobilize, it's a huge threat to the government. It is a huge threat to the government, okay? They do not want someone like Alex Jones, say, and Alex Jones he's a bad example because I really feel like he's an operative. So he's a disinfo agent. He gives us truth and he gives us bullshit and he's in on the whole thing. Like, that's my opinion about Alex Jones. And I think the whole reason they did that suit, if it was real, that's just my psychic. You don't have to believe me when I talk about it like that. But regardless, the reason they did it is to squash free speech. And that's what they're going to do with the Turtle Boy case. And I'm worried about it. I'm worried they're going to try to make an example out of Turtle Boy with this defamation case. That's what I'm actually worried about. Because why the fuck is Chris Maddie involved? Like, why is this guy involved? He's an attorney in Connecticut. This happened in Massachusetts, and why is it him? And how much is he getting paid? It's got to be a lot of money. He can't be a cheap lawyer, and I can't imagine it's contingency because the case sucks. I mean, if you look at the case, first of all, these people aren't very likable. Okay, these people that are suing Turtle Boy for defamation are not likable characters. So I've been on a jury before. I sat on a jury for a murder trial, actually. I went through voir dire and everything in order to be chosen. I was to be chosen on the murder trial. But I sat on a jury, and it's a really unusual experience because you're basically giving all these pieces of a puzzle out of order. because of the procedure, the way that the way that it has to be presented. It's not presented in a story or a narrative. It's presented out of order, and you have to figure it out. And, probably if you have an IQ of 100, you could do it, right? It's not that hard. But the problem is, like, Turtle Boy doesn't have the kind of money that Alex Jones has. Alex Jones was selling supplements and t-shirts and bumper stickers. And I mean, I had one of his bumper stickers that said, Hillary Clinton for prison 2016. I had one of those, but somebody gave it to me actually. But regardless, he had an empire. And if you look at any of the case with Alex Jones and Chris Maddie, you're going to see Chris Maddie does this whole series of questions that he asks Alex Jones about what he sells, like his t-shirt sales, his supplement sales. How many people watched you on this day? And when you went here, how many people watched you there? And I'm listening to it and I'm thinking, okay, who cares? Who cares? It's capitalism. This is why it matters. And this is why something stuck out to me in that letter I read that those lawyers sent to Tim Poole. It matters because that's how they calculate damages. That's why it matters. It matters how many people you reached and how much money you have. That's how they're going to calculate damages. So when those lawyers, there's a lot of interesting things in that letter that those lawyers sent to Tim Poole. But one of the things I noted was a couple of things. One, they called them private citizens. They called the McCabe's and the Alberts private citizens. Okay. They specifically refer to them as private citizens. Why does that matter? Well, in defamation cases, and I'm not a lawyer, first of all. I am not a lawyer. I don't have a law degree. I learned this by myself by reading. If I'm wrong, I'm happily corrected. Okay. But this is what I've gathered. Private citizens versus a public person, it's different rules for defamation. Okay. If someone is a public figure, for example, we'll use, Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio is a public figure. If someone were to like Saturday Night Live riff on Marco Rubio, right? If they were to riff on him, we'd know like they're just cracking jokes, right? Like Saturday Night Live does this all the time to public figures, right? Come on, guys. You gonna go outside? Go on, Jose. No? Are you going to play a game now? Okay, go ahead. There you go. All right. That's what I figured. So Saturday Night Live is constantly like calling people all kinds of names and stuff. Why do they get away with it? Because the people that they're calling the names are public figures. And in order to get defamation awarded in those cases, those public figures, you have to prove malice. And Saturday Night Live, they're not doing it maliciously. They're doing it out of satire. I'll give you another example. This person, Nan Gallagher, who's inserted herself in the Turtle Boy ecosystem. Okay. I would consider her, and again, I'm not a lawyer. This is me supposing she'd probably be considered a limited public figure. And so, Jimmy making all of these hilarious fucking albums and not paintings, but having homework assignments that we hand in and stuff. It's not out of malice, right? Like none of that is out of malice. It's out of silliness and fun and poking fun, right? And you're allowed to do that. So it's protected, in other words. We can't have people walking around losing their shit because somebody made a funny picture of them, I mean, that's kind of where we're at with this. So the McCabe's and the Alberts are calling themselves private citizens, or the attorneys are, for a reason, because it's a lot easier to prove defamation if they're going to be considered private citizens. Now, I don't know how this is where being a lawyer or somebody who knows a lawyer is helpful, because I don't know who determines if the McCabe's and Alberts are private citizens. Do they determine that? It wouldn't make sense, right? How is it determined? Does the judge say you guys are, limited public figures, or you guys are public figures, or you guys are private figures, right? Who determines that is the question I have regarding that, because it matters. And I'd like to know if it's been decided yet, if these people are private or limited public, because they're definitely not. I don't think they're public. They would just be limited public because they were well known during the Karen Reed trial and around that whole thing. So my guess is they're limited public figures for this, but they call themselves private. So that's one thing I noticed. The other thing that they do in this suit is they just use a lot of threatening type language, sort of letting Tim Poole know. This was the line I picked up on. If you allow Aiden Carney or Turtle Boy to come on your much larger platform and discuss his ideas to your much larger, like they framed it in a way like your platform is way bigger, which is true. I think, what does he have? Like 2.5 million followers, Tim Poole, right? So it's true. His platform is way fucking bigger. I don't believe they worded it that way because they wanted to be like, haha, Turtle Boy, you're just a little, but that's not why they worded it that way. They worded it that way to alert Tim Poole's lawyers, okay, that like by allowing this person who we feel is perpetuating defamation against our clients onto your significantly larger platform than his, you're going to be sued too. I mean, they're letting him know, like, you give him a voice on your million person platform or whatever, as that gets amplified out, when we start to, calculate the damages, you'll be involved in it. That's what I saw. And so here's the other thing that I think is interesting. And I'd like to know what a lawyer thinks, but in some ways, maybe, listen, first of all, let's just get this straight. Tim Poole is a micropeen and he's a sellout. Okay. Because otherwise he would have said, fuck you, and had Turtle Boy come on. Okay. I get it. You can say, look, he's got a business, he's got assets to protect. That's what a sellout is. Okay. That's when you know you're a sellout. Just because you have business and asset and things to protect, do you stand on it or not? It's one or the other. And I'm sorry to say it like that, but like, I stopped practicing medicine because of COVID, because I felt so strongly about that vaccine and what they were doing. That's a story for a different time, and we will talk about it. But I'm just saying, like, I'm not telling people to go homeless, and not everybody's able to do whatever. But at the end of the day, like, you have to stand for certain things in this world, and free speech is one of them. And the Second Amendment is one of them. At least in our country, it should be that way everywhere. We have the right to speak our minds. You don't have the right to threaten people, right? But you have the right to speak your mind, and that's all Turtle Boy has done here. And now they're telling Tim, look, if you let him on there, the damages are going to be calculated based off that. That could have hurt Turtle Boy more too. Like, him going on Tim Poole would have been awesome. Tim Poole, micropene, cucked out. But they would have calculated that in damages as well, based on what he got from that, the publicity and everything. I would still think it would have been better if he went on, obviously. I'm just saying, if you try to balance it out, like, how bad is it? It just sucks for him, though. For me, it was more of a signal. For me, Tim Poole canceling that was more of a signal to me. There's a lot of noise in this case and in this world and everything else, but Tim Poole canceling Turtle Boy was a signal that this case is going to be probably national news at some point, like big time national news. And that there's somebody within this group, this McCabe, Albert, Morrissey, Tully, whoever, there's somebody who's got a lot of pull. I don't know who it is. This is my psychic. I don't really know. I could be totally wrong. But I'm just trying to understand, like, because it doesn't make sense otherwise, Like, there's corrupt things. Cops get caught. They go to prison now. It's not like it used to be. Who is it that Turtle Boy is pissing off that has access to somebody with a lot of money and power? Because it's not the McCabes, okay? The McCabes and the Alberts, like, people are like, oh, yeah, they run the town. Like, Matt McCabe makes 6 figures. 6 figures is actually not a lot of money anymore. And it's definitely not enough to pay for a defamation lawsuit like they're paying. They don't have that kind of fucking money, okay? They just don't. Like, the kind of money you need for the suit that they're pursuing with Turtle Boy is like celebrity money. And they don't have that. They just don't. They live in Canton, right? They don't live in fucking Greenwich or Beverly Hills. They live in Canton. Calm down. You're like upper middle class at most. You know how those people are. I lived in New England, you know. You have these little towns that think they're Greenwich and they're not, you know. That's Greenwich money is different, but the Canton money, I don't think you got Canton money is going to pay for this defamation lawsuit. Who is paying these attorneys? Or are they on contingency? And if they're on contingency, why do they hate the First Amendment so much? Why do you hate the First Amendment so much, Chris Maddie? I'm just curious, like why you hate it so much. So, you know, similarly with Alex Jones, right? People hate him. Oh, he said those kids didn't die. He said this and that. I think he said certain things for sure, and he made money for sure. No different than the mainstream media has been doing for years and decades and beyond, lying to us, saying crazy shit that never happened. I mean, look into it. It's not hard to find this stuff now, guys. So Alex Jones is just the same thing as mainstream media. He's really not that much different. He's like a disinfo. He's like a bridge between the like serious conspiracy theorists and the mainstream media. Alex Jones is like that bridge between the two. So his trial and that settlement and everything, my opinion is that never happened. And you can look at the photos inside of the courtroom and you can see that they're not real. I'm sorry, I just have to say this to people because they don't realize this stuff. So if you see, you've seen it. If it sounds crazy to you, that's okay. You don't have to believe me. But the purpose of the Alex Jones thing was to shut everybody the fuck up about false flags, especially Sandy Hook, because they really hate that one because they just really do. So if Alex Jones is allegedly bankrupted and he's lost everything, why is he still talking, right? I'm glad he's still talking, but let's be honest. If they want to bankrupt you, they look at Kanye. That's somebody they want to bankrupt, okay? Kanye, one of my favorite people. I've never met him. I just like what he stands for, just like I like what Michael Jackson stands for, I like what John McAfee stands for. I like what Justin Bieber stands for. These are real heroes to me. These are people who have had a lot of suffering and endured a lot of shit because they didn't want to play the game. They didn't want to be a slave to the system anymore. Kanye's bankrupt. He tried to do a freaking concert in England or somewhere, and they shut it down. That's the kind of power these people have. So Alex Jones being like sued for this billion, it's not real, in my opinion. My psychic, allegedly. It's okay if you don't agree with me, but it makes zero sense. Okay. He's got an underground studio in Texas. It's huge. Okay. So the point I'm trying to make is he's still talking. He's not destitute. Then I just don't believe it. The Sandy Hook thing, the trial, I'm saying. Okay. This is just all in like, my imagination. So you don't have to take it for real. But the point I'm trying to make is they're bringing Chris Maddie, the same guy used on the world stage to sue Alex Jones, into a defamation case for Turtle Boy. And he's representing these people from Canton who definitely don't have the money to pay him unless he's on contingency. And I'm just wondering who here has some kind of pull with somebody, because that's the only thing that makes sense. And I'm not the only one wondering it, because I saw a tweet from Mark Randazza. It was tweeted about 6 hours ago, and it said, who is funding this campaign? Who's financing it against Turtle Boy? Who is that? And I have the same question. Who's financing it? Because it's somebody, and it's getting bigger, and it's becoming more obvious. And I've been seeing it for a while. I mean, the amount of trouble they're giving him for people who should just be like regular moms seems pretty extraordinary. And it makes me think, like, who is related to somebody here? Is somebody related to somebody? Does somebody know somebody? Now, we know Brian Albert used to be on a show about Boston cops. And he showed off his boxing skills and all that shit, right? That was produced by Mark Wahlberg. Okay? Mark Wahlberg. who, I like his movies and his music and stuff. But when I found that out like yesterday, I think. When I found that out, I was like, that's interesting because Mark Wahlberg is from Boston, right? Ben Affleck is from Boston, I think. I know Mark Wahlberg is. He's from Boston, right? But nobody's heard shit about him regarding this case. Is that because he's on somebody's side in the background? I don't know. This is just a speculation. I don't believe that's true. I'm just saying, like, who's got money that's supporting these McCabe and Albert people? You know? And who are these people that are popping up? We saw them, right? We see people pop up like a Nan Gallagher, like a JFK show off to create tension in the group, in the ecosystem. And it happens in all ecosystems. I mean, it's not specific just to our Turtle Boy ecosystem. It happens in all of them where you have these disruptors come in and try to create problems for people. Some people just do that instinctually because that's the way they live, right? I stay away from people like that. Other people do it because that's what they're being paid to do. There's a difference, right? If you're being paid to do it versus you're just a shit starter. And most of the time, it's just people are shit starters. It's very rare that I'm going to look and be like, but that person's paid to shit start, right? And I'm not accusing anybody of that, but generally speaking, any group online, whether you're talking about Idaho 4, whether you're talking about Aiden Carney, whether you're talking about Delphi, whether you're talking about whatever case, there's going to be people in that movement eventually that have been placed there and are being paid by someone to influence that group. That's a fact. That happens all the time. Can I prove who those people are in this movement? No, I can't. And I wouldn't even speculate. But there are people like that. They would be people like a Nan Gallagher. I'm not, definitely isn't her, obviously, but I'm just saying it would be someone like that who comes in and just tries to like make their way into the movement and then creates divide and division. And here's why I say that. When she came onto the platform, right? First of all, I've been following this case like, a lot of people have. And I never saw her until she was giving super chats. And it was just like out of nowhere, you see her doing these super chats right before one of the trial motion dates with Karen Reed and Turtle Boy. It was the same day, actually, because that's the day I went up there. That's the day I saw the glare the first time and said hello and met a lot of people. And that's the day I saw her in person. And I was shocked because she didn't look anything like what she was on here, right? Because on here, you can add like, I don't know, you can put on like extra makeup and filter or whatever. I don't do that shit. I mean, I'm just like, this is me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, but like she would have, and I was like, but when I saw her in person, I almost didn't recognize her. I'm not trying to be an asshole. Like genuinely didn't look the same, and so, and then she's like, and that day, that's when Aiden, oh my gosh, he and Will are fucking around in front of the window. And next thing you know, he's got witness intimidation. And it's just very strange to me, right? And it's not just strange to me. Melanie Little, she's an attorney. She mentioned that as an attorney, that woman should have said something. And I agree with her. I'm not an attorney, but we talked about this before. It's just common sense, looking out for someone. His own girlfriend should have told him to stop it, right? Maybe he wouldn't, but at least try instead of just sit there filming it. That's like the opposite of being a responsible person who's educated in the law. I mean, it's just weird, right? Like you're going to film it. Why are you filming it? Just in case it's not being filmed already inside? Like, it's weird. I don't like it. I'm not accusing. I'm just noticing, right? I notice these things, right? And then she starts talking shit. She's been talking shit about Melanie Little. Thankfully, Melanie Little is resilient and doesn't care. And she's kept her mouth shut for a long time. But she did go on her own truth journey. We all saw that. She didn't call it that, but that's what it was. And it was amazing. But it's kind of like when you start to use people's outward identity as a reason to put them down, it really irritates me. Like, it's probably not the best way to put it. For example, the thing that really bothered me that Nan Gallagher has done, and she's doubled down over and over again, this really bothers me, is that she went after Auntie Deb, saying that because he harasses women or something, that he shouldn't be around children. And she actually made that argument again on her spaces. And that offends me, and not much offends me. And it, that to me is that's an evil spirit doing that. That's just my opinion. Because people are too good to do that. That's an evilness that's coming through, right? And I don't know why. Sometimes I think people are too open to falling into this stuff. You have to be careful. Don't get nasty like that. I mean, it was really nasty saying all those things about Jimmy or anybody, Auntie Deb or anybody. I don't care who it is. And he doesn't need me again to defend him. I'm pointing something out because I can't believe an adult, an attorney, and all these things would do that, It's just crazy to me. And then Auntie Deb said that after this sort of parasocial bestie, like, I don't want to call it a fight because it wasn't even really a fight, but interaction, people started dogpiling on Auntie Deb, saying things like they're calling him a fag and things like that. And it's like, he said something that made sense to me. He's like, you could just tell they couldn't wait. They were waiting to say it, right? And I know what he means. Because there are people out there just can't, what do they have, Tourette's or something? They have to say the word faggot or something. I don't understand. And use it as an insult to someone. There are just some people out there that are like that. And you know what? I'd rather know who they are, truthfully. Show me who you are. Good. Now I know who you are. I clock that. And that's what happens, right? You see these people and the way they behave. You're like, okay, I see how you are. Okay, I know what's going on here. And it's like, do people not understand that? Do they not understand, like, when they're sitting there typing all their shit, shitting all over people, that there are people that are watching you type all that shit and saying, wow, okay. Like, it's like oblivious, right? It's like totally fucking oblivious over here. And then they wonder why somebody is like not going to trust them or not be happy with them or calling them a shit starter and stuff like that. We've seen it. You've seen people go into chats and praise some creator, and then they go into another chat and that person's shitting on that. So then they start shitting on them. And I'm just like, okay, good to know. So it's like, what the fuck is this? It's funny, right? It's funny. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is to not spiral, to not escalate, to not make something bigger than it is. Like Auntie Deb and Jess Machado's show are fine. And people need to stop dogpiling on people over other people's beefs. Like, it's, in my opinion, you can do whatever you want, but you don't need to do it. I guess I'm just pointing it out because I find it fucked up. So I want to just talk a few minutes about something called cognitive distortions. Really quick. I know it sounds like a lecture, but it's really not. I think you might find it helpful to hear these things. And then I'm going to explain how this thing right here, I'll tell you the story about this thing. All right. So cognitive distortions are things that we all suffer from. And they're kind of like quick shortcuts in our brain because we're lazy. Our brain's lazy too. It doesn't want to use up a lot of energy. So it wants to make things easy. So the problem though with cognitive distortions is if you're constantly having this distorted perspective, then over time that can cause anxiety, depression, all kinds of things, right? And so the idea here is that we're aware, like what I'm about to tell you, are things that you may do. And once I tell them to you and you're aware of them, it may help you do them less. That's the goal here. Okay. So here's an example. All or nothing thinking. Okay. This is distortion. It's like people only see things on one or the other. They see it in an extreme, right? So the person's either loyal or they're fake, right? Or if he did that, then he's changed completely. What happened to the old person, right? They don't have any sort of allowance for gray or nuance, right? And we see this a lot in online ecosystems, okay? And truthfully, some of those things can just be, they can either be bots or they can be people paid to disrupt. You should be aware of that. I mean, the Turtle Boy movement is organic. I've watched a lot of movements over the years. I've watched a lot of political movements. I've watched criminal things. And I can see when things are not organic and when they are. And one of the reasons I'm so interested in Aiden Carney's case is because everything about it is real. And if you haven't followed me, that might not mean as much to you as others, but it's real. It's like a real case, real people. Somebody died. I went up there. So it means a lot to me. I also am very much a First Amendment supporter and Second Amendment supporter. And I'm also very much interested in people taking personal responsibility for themselves. Okay. So the black and white thinking, this all or nothing, seeing things in extreme, right? Somebody like an Aiden Carney is going to polarize people to start thinking that way because the things he says gets people all activated and they get angry and they're like, no, but fuck you and da, right? And some people like that shit. They get dopamine spikes from it and they love it, right? Me, that's exhausting to me. I'm more chill. Like, let's calm the fuck down, guys. Nobody's dying here. Nobody's dying here. Okay. So I prefer to to then look and say, okay, I'm not going to jump in and start, all or nothing thinking. Let's think about it. And you know what that requires? It requires time and patience. It requires you to not just pounce. It requires you to say, wait a second, I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling upset. Instead of just pouncing, I'm going to sit back, maybe sleep on it, and then talk about it. You don't have to do that. I'm just saying you might find if you do that your life is more peaceful. Overgeneralization, another cognitive distortion. Okay. It's when you take one event and you automatically turn it into a pattern. It's like one data point is like global conclusion. Like people do this all the time too, in real life and online. So, Val, for example, she put something out and then everyone's just going to be like, see, she's toxic. She's an asshole. She's trying to divide, that kind of stuff. I don't believe any of that. I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying this is how people do, right? Like this is what people do. They just take one little, that's why I'm saying like Val, I don't know, like I know who she is, right? I know like of her. I've seen her around in the movement, but like I don't have a bad thing to say about her. I also haven't studied all of her shit, right? So like I'm not going to make a judgment, right? But a lot of people have done that on her. And I bet you if you sat and you asked them, well, what did she do? Oh, she put some screenshots. Okay. Is Jimmy upset about it? No? Okay, then why the fuck are you upset about it? Is it true? Are they joking? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of stuff. And so it's important to just kind of like, I feel like it's about giving grace to yourself and to others, like before just jumping in. You know what I mean? So like overgeneralization. That's another thing that happens a lot in arguments with friends and relationships. It's the worst thing for relationships because it's like, say, even if the person does fucking do it all the time, right? To say it to them, it's crushing. There's different ways to approach it. Like, oh, somebody didn't take out the trash. Oh, you never take out the fucking trash. You never take out the trash. And then you get angry about it, right? If you actually look at it, he doesn't never take out the trash. Okay. He takes it out all the time. And maybe like 20 times a year, he forgets. So it's unfair, right? You get the point. So that's the overgeneralization thing. That's the piece there. And so instead of just rushing to blame, with the disappointment, like hold your tongue for a second. That's all. Or not. Be an asshole and just run your mouth. Mental filter, focusing only on one negative detail and ignore everything else. So if something's happening, right? If there's 10 neutral things in the environment, the environment's neutral, people are cool, whatever, but there's one person that's giving you a dirty look sideways, or one person that's being a little shady. Okay. What happens with a mental filter distortion is you automatically assume like it's a problem. Like the whole room's a problem because they're neutral, they're not excited, and this person's shady. When in fact you have no data to support that other than your own fucked up imagination. Because the reality is that person might be side-eyeing you because they think you look like someone, they have gas, they have to go to the bathroom. I mean, I don't fucking know why, but it's really like, why take it personally, right? So that's like the mental filter where like all these great things or neutral things can be happening, but one bad thing, and you're going to focus on that. And that's going to become the narration of the day, or some people for their entire life. Okay. Some people really attach themselves to this shit for their entire lives. And we've known them. And it's sad because they can't just like zoom out and be like, this is a thing that happens to people, right? This is shit that happens to every one of us. It happens to all of us. And I think it's helpful to point it out, because then the first step is to see it and then understand it, if you're interested. Another way is like ignoring someone's they do this in the news all the time. They ignore the full statement and they just zoom in on one phrase. That's propaganda when it's on the news. But it's when it's in your living room or in a friendship, okay, or in your mind, you're focusing on one thing, you're filtering out all the good or neutral. That's a distortion. Okay. And that's why talking to other people is helpful. It doesn't have to be a therapist, but somebody else to say, hey, look, like, I get it. I've been there, but like, don't get stuck. It's like your brain gets stuck and then you start to spiral down. So another one would be disqualifying the positive. Okay. So when you reject positive evidence as meaningful, all right. So for example, hold on one second. Sorry. Just gotta, oh, let me just accept this really quick. 1 second. I'm on a live right now. All right. Bye. So here's the other thing about, whoops, sorry. So like saying, oh, like let's say somebody gives you a compliment, okay? You're like, she didn't really mean that, or he didn't really, he only complimented me because of this, because he wants something, right? Now, sometimes that's true, but like oftentimes when people when I compliment, I'm generally complimenting because, I believe it. I've been sycophants to people, where I'm just like, oh my God, you're so great, this and that. And I'm like, all right, I got to back it up here. Because while I feel that way, Jess Machado made a point, and Jimmy made a point. Don't put them on a pedestal, right? And that's kind of the thing we have to keep in check here, is like not putting people on pedestals. I've done that in my romantic life, my whole life, which is why I have a trail of failed relationships with men. But I'm not going to do that anymore, right? If I ever have the opportunity again, it's not going to be that way again for me. Anyway, so disqualifying the positive, like you get an A on an exam and you're like, yeah, but I'm still going to fail for the year, like that kind of shit. Instead of being like, I got an A, this is momentum. My hard work paid off, right? There's different ways to look at it. The distortion is when you disqualify it, when you say it doesn't matter. No, if you're going to focus on bad, focus on good too. Focus on the win, right? Jumping to conclusions is one of my favorites. There's two things you can call this here. It could be either mind reading or fortune telling. And we all do this shit and we all think we're right and we're all fucking wrong. Okay. So I'm here to tell you. Now, there are some people that are actually right, but that's a different story for a different day. Mind reading, it's assuming you know someone's intentions, okay? She meant that as a dig. He's obviously trying to distance himself. That's mind reading. You're a mind reader? Now you're a mind, do you have, let's get you know what I'm saying? Like, we've all done it. We've all done it. And my point about it is, before you say, oh, he did that to be a dick, or she did that to create chaos, Step back and look at it a little. Like, look, I can say that about first of all, anybody can say whatever they want. But there are times I'll say that, but it's only after a lot of reflection. And I guess I'm just encouraging people to be a little bit more observant and patient before they make these sweeping comments that are, I mean, truthfully, they can cause some harm. But people can do whatever they want. It's in your own life though, too, right? Like this can be helpful in your own life to recognize this is happening. Fortune telling is when you predict an outcome as a fact, right? So like this is the beginning. They're definitely falling out. Like this would be like a Jess Machado, Auntie Deb thing. Like, oh my God, this happened. And now they're definitely not friends anymore. It's so fucked up. There are people, I guarantee, online in comment sections, maybe in spaces or wherever the fuck they do it, talking about it like that right now, as if they know for a fact. There are so many people that do this fortune telling. They do it in all kinds of ways. I'm just using this as an example, but like just in general, in your own life, think about ways you might do this to sabotage yourself or others. Fortune telling, that's not going to work. It never worked. It never will work. That kind of shit, right? It's like really challenge. How do you know it's not going to work? How do you know that's what he meant? How do you know they're not going to be friends? How do you know they're not just fucking with all of us? You know what I'm saying? Like, question it before you just like get in there and make it. I think it's helpful. Catastrophizing. I always have a hard time saying this one. Catastrophizing. Anyway, it's like when one little thing goes wrong and it's like, that's it, we're done. Just shit the whole bed. Like this changes everything. It's a huge betrayal. The community is splitting. They'll never be the same. Oh my God. Like this is so dramatic, right? We love dramatic. It's fine. But like, understand it's an act. Hyperbole, dramatics. This is an act, guys. Nobody can constantly walk around performing. It's fucking exhausting, right? Actors are not walking around acting on the street. That's why you see them on the street. You might not even recognize them. So it's performative. All the dramatics are performative. Even Turtle Boys is performative, right? He means it. I'm not saying he's not authentic, which is why he's popular. But like there is an element of performance there. And that's why we like it. It's fun. Observe it. Now, as parasocials, we become part of it. So I guess I'm trying to be a responsible member of an ecosystem. Emotional reasoning is another big one. Like just because you believe it's true, mean it's true. Like that person's shady. Yeah, that must mean they're shady. Like that kind of shit. Okay. Labeling, signing global labels to people based on like one little thing they did. Now, me calling Tim Poole a cog or having a micropene, like I could give like a dissertation on why I believe that. I don't think you guys want to hear it, but like that's not just like a one-off label. Like that's an actual feeling I have about him. Anyway, so like it's like one thing they do and their identity is stamped forever. Now, to be fair, there are certain things people can do that I will be like, okay, I just clocked you, motherfucker, and I'll never unsee that. But that's different than like somebody like Auntie Deb having a phone mishap and missing being on Jess's show, and then people dogpiling and calling him all kinds of nasty names for it. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you guys being so weird? You know what I mean? Like, why are you being so weird? Personalization is another big one. People assume a lot that like they're at the center of it, that they're the one that's being talked about, that they're the one that's, important. A lot of people do this, especially now. I'm Gen X. I grew up in a generation where validation was not a thing. We were not a validated generation, Gen X. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that my parents didn't like give me support and validate me and love me, or my friends. That's not what that means. I just mean as a generation, Gen X does not have this. Gen Xers are tough skinned, I guess is what I'm trying to say. We're generally pretty tough skinned. And we're the latchkey kids. We're the kids that came home and our parents were working. Okay. And we figure out how to do shit on our own, And yeah, so I just feel like it's important to point that out. I'm not saying, and most people that watch me, I think, are in that generation, So when I see people behaving online differently, I'm like, Well, we'll talk about that in a second. All right. So then this is the last one I'm going to make. And because I don't want to bore you guys with this all day, but should statements, and this is the big one, okay? This is a big one. A lot of people believe people should act or things should be a certain way. Should. So you drive to the market and you go inside and you're going to do some grocery shopping. And when you go inside, they don't have any apples. That market is out of apples, okay? And I know it sounds ridiculous, but they're actually out of apples. So the thing that happens is people get really bent out of shape, including me. This happens, right? I'll be like, what the fuck? The market doesn't have any, like, there's no apples. You don't have any gala apples. You don't have any, like, red delicious apples, like, no apples, right? And I get really angry. You should have them here. You're a market. You should have apples here. You're fucked up. You ruined everything, blah, 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 right? Now, should statements, you can do them for all kinds of things. Like you get in your car and the gas tank is almost empty. She should have filled my tank before she brought it back. She should have done that. And then you start getting angry and angrier, right? It's the whole should statements. Now, yeah, the market probably should be stocked with apples. And yeah, if you borrow the car, you should probably fill the tank back up when you return it. But that's not really what happens, right? And walking around with the should in your mind all the time is going to make you fucking miserable. I'm just letting you know. It's just one of those things. And it's also a distortion because you're assuming that the world and the people around you have to behave the way you expect them to behave. Now, it's reasonable to expect apples to be at the market. But at the end of the day, like if they're out, they're fucking out, you know? Same as like it's reasonable to expect somebody to fill up your tank. If it happens all the time, you're not going to go to that market. Or if it happens all the time, you're not going to let the person borrow your gas tank. But the first time it happens, if you get stuck on the should, you're going to get really angry. You're going to start berating the person. I can't believe you didn't fill the gas. I can't believe you returned the car and didn't fill the gas. I mean, is that justified? I mean, I guess, but like, what's the point? You know, if you get angry and upset about it, just like, okay, look, fuck. I wish they would have filled it. They didn't. I'll go fill it and I'll tell them the next time they want to borrow it. Look, last time you borrowed it, you didn't fill the tank. I'd appreciate it if you did this time. And let it go at that instead of carrying that inside all day and being like, they should have done this. Or just drive to another fucking town and get the apples there instead of they should have apples there. I'm pissed off and I'm going to be angry the rest of the day. Like that kind of shit, right? This is what cognitive distortions do. They make your brain stuck on stupid shit. And our brains do it all the time. And if you're depressed, it happens a lot more. These are just 10, but there's a lot more. I learned about, I have an undergraduate degree in psychology. So I have some knowledge of psychology. And also I'm just read lots of books on it over the years because I'm fascinated by it. But the distortions are a big deal. There's a book called The New Mood Therapy. The author's last name is Beck. I can't remember the first name, but it goes through these distortions. It talks about ways of kind of working through it. There's certain types of therapy that don't. I'm not saying people need therapy over it. I'm just saying just recognize it in yourself and others. And then you can, once you recognize it, you can maybe help yourself to think a little bit more clearly, I guess is the way to put it. So, or not, you don't have to do any of that shit, right? So let me show you guys this because I want to talk about that. I want to grab a drink first though. So what I'm going to do is just put on some music for 1 second. You can stay or go, but I'd appreciate, if you guys want to stay, I am going to talk a little bit more about something. And it's about this thing right here. And I think you may find it interesting. Let me just put on some music for a second. I'll be right back. I just have to grab something to drink because I'm.
Quit my job, cash in.
You get the crip walk. I'll be right back. Hell yeah. That's good. You gonna dance, kitty? Oh, the kitty's joined us. Okay. Hey, kitty. All right, guys. All right, I'm back. You see the kitty? What are you doing, Val? Hey, pretty girl. This cat does the most extraordinary yoga poses. This cat is like also the cleanest cat you'll ever meet. She's so soft because all she does is clean herself all day. I guess that's what cats do. Anyway, let's talk about this. Okay, so this is something called Accurite. Okay. I found this in a bag the other day and I was like, you know what? Let's talk about this thing. Hold on. Say hello. How you guys doing? The cat seems to be cool with her. Strategic Intelligence Anal 9778. How you doing, guys? All right, so this is something that it measures internal temperature. Okay, so like right now it says, and the humidity. So right now it says it's 68 degrees Fahrenheit in my house. It is 38% indoor humidity. Okay. So if I were to go and put this outside for probably like 5-10 minutes or whatever, it would change. It might be a little bit higher or lower. Whatever. It'd probably be lower because it's a little cool out today. All right. Why am I showing you this? Right? Like, why should you care about this thing? Well, I want to explain something. I had a friendship in which it was like very close friendship. And you know, when you're friends with people, you help them out. Like you do this and they do that. Like it's just like you don't keep tabs, right? In my opinion, you don't keep tabs on friendships. Like if I help you out, say I come over and let the dogs out or whatever a few times while you're away, I'm not like writing that down somewhere or putting it in like some space in my head where I can pull it out later and give you a list of all the shit I've done for you. I don't do that. That's not the kind of friend I am, right? There are people that are like that. They're transactional, and I don't want to be friends with those kind of people. But sometimes it's hard to know who they are, okay? And then when you find out who they are, sometimes it's hard to believe them. So it's hard. It's hard to really see someone for who and what they are, especially when you love them, right? So it got to a point where I was helping a friend out and I was, letting their animals out and doing all these things. Okay, fine, great, whatever. Not a big deal. But this friend felt that the inside of their house, the upstairs portion, didn't have any heat. They felt like, you know what, the heat is fucked up upstairs and it's cold. And before I come back, I want to let the landlord know and I want to prove it to him. So can you go over to my house and can you basically hold on for 1 minute? Sorry, I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened here, but I'm getting a little bit of a message because they're asking me about going somewhere. Hold on. Okay, thanks. All right. So anyway, so imagine this, like you're sitting in your house. It's like 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. It's a friend of yours. You guys help each other out when you need help, whatever. And this person wants you to go get one of these things, an internal thermometer, go over to their house, go upstairs and find out what the temperature is. Because when they're at their house, They're telling you like it's fucking cold. It's like there's no heat upstairs. It's not working. The heater downstairs is fine. And they're upset and they want the landlord to like take some money off the rent for this or whatever the hell it is, right? And I'm like, okay, sure, like I'll check it out, fine. So I go to Walmart because that's the only thing that was open at that time. And I found this thing, right? So I go over to the house, I go in, and it feels nice when I go inside, let the dogs out, whatever. I go upstairs, and the thermometer on the wall on the upstairs has the temperature. The temperature is, I don't know, 67 or something, 68. Okay. Same as the temperature downstairs. The temperature downstairs might have been like 70 because it was up higher. Now I know it's usually hotter upstairs, but regardless, it was 68 upstairs. So I put this knowing that this person, that wasn't going to be enough for them. And that's fine. It wouldn't be enough for me if I really thought it was cold up there. I put this on top of the thermometer of their house and in their upstairs. And I took a picture so you could see that it was the same, right? Like it said 68 on this that I just bought and it said 68 on that, right? So, so essentially whatever the person thought about it being cold upstairs it wasn't true, right? And and I also could feel it, right? So even without this proof, I would know, okay, that if you walked up there, you could tell it's not 20 or 40 degrees up here. Like the fucking heat is working up here, right? But I did it anyway. I took the picture, I sent it, okay? And the person didn't want to believe me. They're like, no, that's not true. You're not listening to me. It's really cold up there. There's something not right, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, you know what? Maybe you're right. I'll try it again. Even though I know in my mind, this person is not thinking clearly. I'm like, I'm trying to help them out, right? So I'll do one more time. Fuck it, right? Why not? I'm not getting paid for this. This is my friend, all right? Okay, we'll do it this way, that way. All right, so I do it. And guess what? It's still fucking the same. It's the heat is totally fine in this upstairs house. No problems with the heat, okay? And so I let them know. I leave them a voicemail. Hey, guy, look, the heat's fine, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, then I see the cat. They have this cat, a beautiful, exotic cat, not just like a regular Persian cat. I forget the name of them. They actually got it from a friend of mine. But anyway, the cat's walking around and the cat's eyes look like they're stuck together. Like literally, it looks like the cat has conjunctivitis, pink eye, whatever. You don't need a degree to see that. Okay. So I'm looking at this cat and I'm like, oh my gosh, this poor cat. And they haven't been home for a few days. So in addition to letting them know that that the heat's fine, which you'd think would be happy, it's not. He's not happy about that. I let him know about the cat and he doesn't respond to it. And I'm the type of person, right? I feel responsible now. I saw the cat. The cat's eyes look infected. And I need to have some kind of confirmation that you are aware that I've given you the message about your cat. Because if you come back and your cat's fucking blind, okay, I told you what the cat's eyes were and you acknowledged it, right? That's how I think with shit like this because I feel responsible, right? So, I said something like, look, boo-boo, like, it's fine. Like, I was trying to crack a joke because he was so worked up over this heat upstairs or whatever, not working. And I was like, no, it's totally fine here, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and please acknowledge the fact that I told you your cat looks like he has pink eye. Well, my friend decides to say, that's just the way those cats are. They always have that. And I don't know what the fuck you're talking. I don't remember exactly what he said. I'm going to be honest. And I don't want to make it up. But he kept asking me to do different things. And then he started to yell at me. And it started to feel very familiar. I've been in that place before where people are yelling at me and saying things to me as if like I'm lower than them and that they're like my master or boss or whatever. I started to feel that way. And I recognize that feeling very quickly now. I used to not recognize it or explain it away, but I don't let that go anymore. I've learned that when people treat you that way, they don't change. That's just the type of person they are. And it's sad because you can love the person still or whatever, but like you just recognize like that type of person, that's just the type of person they are, right? I don't know how to describe it otherwise. And so I said, listen, I said, we're friends. Like, I went to Walmart, got this thing. I don't really care. It's $10. I'll pay you back. I don't care about the $10. Like, I'm just coming over to help you out. What I don't like is you yelling at me. Like, I don't know why you're yelling at me. You're trying to act like I'm an idiot. Like, you're trying to blah, blah, blah. No, actually, I was trying to help you. And I'm trying to point out to you, like, unfortunately, you are wrong. I'm sorry if that makes you upset, but you're wrong, right? And eventually he tells me, you're just trying to make me crazy. You're trying to sabotage me or something, and go fuck yourself. And he hung up on me. Okay. So this fucking thing here, when I see it in my house, that's what I think of. That's what I remember. Okay. And I'm keeping it because it's hilarious to me, actually, in retrospect. But the point of my story, there is a point here to the whole story, which is this. What do you think happened after that? What do you think happened after? Oh, and in that argument, the friend also said to me, I said, listen, I'm just trying to help you out. You know what I mean? I'm like, I wasn't trying to be like, oh, I did all this shit for you. You must blah. I didn't say anything like that. I was like, look, I'm not your employee, so don't talk to me like that. I'm just trying to help you out, right? I'm your friend. I'm trying to help you out. I did this for you and I helped your mom when she fell. And I was like, what? Excuse me? You just brought my mom into it? Like, so you're one of those tally keepers. Okay. You're a transaction key. I get it now. You know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. You can't come back from that. For me, you can't come back from that because no, I've done it in the past. In the past, I would have just made myself smaller and been like, I get it. You were just, no. You know why? Because I would never do that. I would never talk to somebody like that. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. And if I did, I would apologize. I would call and say, I'm sorry that I screamed fuck off and sell these things to you. I'm really sorry. And the truth is, if that had happened the next day, I probably would have eventually gotten over it and moved past it. But that's not what happened. Okay. It's not what happened. He never called me again after that. And this was a person who I thought was like, we were so close. It was almost like a family member type. Like I felt like they were, you know what I mean? And so I'm not saying this to demonize anyone. I'm not saying that person's a bad person or none of that. I'm trying to explain a pattern I noticed with certain people, with some people in my life, and you might have that pattern in your life, and how I'm no longer willing to tolerate that in my life. I'm not gonna be the one that goes and begs for forgiveness and I'm sorry when I didn't do anything. And I would lie if I would say it didn't hurt me, that he didn't try to make any amends. You know, I thought after like a week or so, maybe he'd call and say, look, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. Never happened. It's been months. It's never going to happen. Never going to call me and say sorry. Why? Because he doesn't think he did anything wrong. I'm sure, it's the kind of people, generally speaking, not him, maybe him, where they have this whole other fucking alternate story to tell people when they ask what happened to you, right? Like my ex-husband who tells his family that I'm crazy. I mean, that they just go around and tell people shit like this. And people have there's tons of people out there that have certain opinions of me based on things other people have said over the years. And I don't give a fuck because those people aren't my friends. They don't know me. And if they met me, they probably like me. We'd probably get along. And if not, we could be civil to each other. I mean, so I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't know if anybody else has had these kind of experiences and what they've done with them and if they've noticed them, but I have, and I won't tolerate that anymore only because it's exhausting, It's exhausting. And friendship really generally shouldn't be keeping tallies, right? I mean, that's how I feel about it. So the point I'm trying to make is, yeah, it made me sad. It made me sad for a while, but now I'm over it because you can't let something like that keep you down, And I don't regret anything either. So if that helps anyone, it is, right? It's very hard. Yeah, exactly. Yep, and that's what I did. Yeah, it's like cuz I'm not going to fight it, you know what I mean? And like the thing about it is I also recognize there's patterns you pick up on, and as you get older, you know, a lot of us do more self-reflecting, right? And that's the thing that if someone had told me, and maybe they did, and I just didn't listen, because like when you're in your 20s, you don't listen to people like us, like in our 50s or 60s or more. It's kind of like we're old, right? Like we don't know what's going on. We actually know a lot, guys. Hey, youngins, we could give you a lot of helpful tips if you'd listen to us. Oh my God. Um, and I wouldn't do it in a preachy way either, you know. I'm still learning and growing. I've definitely evolved out of that though. That was part of the dynamic in my relationship, in that horrible relationship I was in, which I told you I participated. I was a participant. I'm not being a victim here. I'm just saying, like, I really analyze, like, why do I do this? Why do I feel that way? Why do I feel the need to always say sorry? Why do I feel the need like that person needs to regulate me? That's the biggest thing I recognized here, is that if you depend on someone else, whether it's your partner, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your best friend, or whatever, if that's the only person that can regulate your emotions when you start to spiral, it's good that you have a person, but like it's important to learn how to regulate yourself on your own, right? Like it's really important. And it's something I've learned how to do, but it took me a long time. When your emotions are unregulated, it's really easy to get yourself into all kinds of things that are hard to get out of, because you start saying stupid shit, create a lot of things, you double down, generally things that younger people do. But in these parasocial ecosystems, we see grown ass adults doing it. And it's just, to me, it's funny, like actually funny, like it actually makes me laugh. But it's also sort of like uncomfortable, I guess is the best way for me to put it. Not like, oh my gosh, I'm so uncomfortable, I can't fall asleep tonight. It's more of a mild discomfort, because it's kind of like, come on, guys, we're better than this. That's kind of how I feel about it, honestly. It's like, we could do better, right? And all those little negative things that people put into the universe, they don't realize it's recorded. Like there's such a thing, like whether the Akashic records are an actual book or a file, or it's just the ether, the medium with which we're all walking around in, it's recorded. Like everything you do and say, and I don't mean by like someone else, I just mean like on earth, we're in a place, we're in a dimension where there's space and time, and we're always here and now. And therefore, if you have agency of yourself, you recognize that. And the words that you use matter because they're recorded. And whether someone sees them today or not doesn't mean that nobody sees them. And it doesn't mean that they'll never come back to bother you. If you live long enough and you become a little self-aware, you recognize this. Karma is real. And if you're a shitty person, shitty things happen to you. Shitty things happen to good people too. Those are the lessons in life. And the people who walk around saying all of these nasty things, creating the negative dynamics, are usually the ones that will not speak up. They're too afraid to come on a live, that, maybe in their own lives they don't have any agency. I don't know what it is about these people, but they don't want to be exposed. Exposing them is their biggest fear. And I think that's why people like the McCabe's and the Alberts want this lawsuit, because they're so full of themselves and their position and their maybe upper middle class town of Canton, that they have to have their names cleared. When if they, I'm thinking, like, I like to always put myself in that position, right? I'm always trying to say, well, how would I have behaved if, let's say I'm sitting here right now and Turtle Boy rolls up on my lawn and he's got a megaphone and there's a group of people outside and they're talking shit about me, right? Like, how would I respond to that, And I've thought about it, I can tell you I wouldn't respond the way that the McCabe's and Alberts responded. They don't directly confront any of it. They triangulate, right? They're hiring attorneys. They're getting other people. They're hiring people online to come online and create narratives. They're triangulating. And that's why we don't like it. We don't like anybody that triangulates. I mean, a lot of us don't have a veil in between us and reality anymore. We see exactly all these patterns and things. Like, it's so obvious, And anyway, sorry guys. Oh, hold on. Let me get the doggos in. Hold on. I hear them barking outside. Come on, guys. Josie. Come on, baby. Hey. You being good? You being a good boy? What is on your mouth right now? No. You can't have that. You can't have that. No. Hi. Are you guys thirsty? You guys thirsty? Huh? Yeah. What are you doing, huh? There's water in here. Let me make sure they see their water, okay? I think they just want attention, but I want to make sure they're not thirsty here. Come here. Come here, you big baby. Oh, yeah, you guys need some water. Hold on. Yeah, so I haven't heard from them, and, like, it kind of sucks. I say them because it was a couple, and, like, you get an argument with one member of a married couple. It's, you can't divide that loyalty. I would never do that. Married people have to stick together. So, but I've been in positions where I would have been the one to apologize, even though I did nothing wrong. I've done that so many times in my life. Where I'm like, hey, like, sorry if I was a little edgy that night. You know what I mean? But, like, I'm not doing that anymore. Like, I'm not doing that for anybody anymore. Why did I ever do that? I don't know. But I won't do it for anybody anymore. Because ultimately, all those little things that you do to, like, make yourself less, over time, they catch up, And it's important to be kind to yourself too, just as kind as you are to everyone else, right? That's one of the things I've also tried to be, is giving myself a little more grace, because giving grace to others that comes naturally to me. And so, but somehow giving grace to myself is, like, so hard, right? Like, when I fuck up or I do something, I'm the worst person in the world. I'm the worst everything. It's what we go back to, the cognitive distortions, the all or nothing thinking, the overgeneralization. There's certain things that can put me into that tailspin, right? Josie girl. Hi. Hi. Hi, pretty. Hi, pretty girl. Hey, do not do that. No, stop. Go ahead, kitty, go. No, hold on. I just don't want him to give her. Hey. No. Fabio. No. Come on. I have to watch him with the cat. They're okay, but hold on. Come here, Joe. Come here. So I'm definitely planning on going up for Turtle Boy's next hearing. Every time he has one lately, they've been rescheduled, right? And but I really do want to, when they have the next one, I want to go up. I live in New Jersey, and I'm trying to find if there's like any turtle riders in New Jersey. Like if somebody wants to like, um, I don't know, carpool or something. I'm guessing there's got to be turtle riders in New Jersey. We know that one woman was selling T-shirts or something. Do you guys remember that? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly right. That's what they did. And, selling that house, that was their parents' house. Okay. Their parent, so you know how it is. I got the impression that Coco, the wife of Brian Albert, was not happy about selling that house. Okay. Like they definitely didn't want to sell it. I don't think they wanted to sell the house. I think they felt they needed to sell the house because there was evidence in that house. Um, it's hard to sell a house with a pool where I live. Just yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Unless they, a lot of times people will take out, hey guys, hey guys. Shh, shh, shh. Uh-oh. What's going on? You know how the dogs protect the perimeter as if this is a military installation over here. Hey, yo. Um Yeah, I would imagine the house was sold off because or sold or paid off. I'm sorry, because it was the parents' house, unless they did like what do you call that? Refinancing or a HELOC or something, you know? And it's in a good neighborhood. Right behind their house is the T. I don't know if they call it the T, but it's like the subway. It's not really a subway, it's a train, you know? Um they were in a really good location. It's right outside of Boston and everything. So I think they're not happy about it. Oh, I see what they're doing. Hold on. What's going on out here, guys? Who's out here? What are they doing? Huh? Hey, Winston. It's okay. It's okay, baby. It's all good. Fabio, come over here. Come over here and lay down. Come over here and lay down. No, he doesn't want to lay down. Okay. Hard to sell. Where is it you live where there's first of all, I had a pool. Okay. And I hated it because if you live in Connecticut, that's where I lived when I had the pool. I lived in Connecticut and it was first I was in a house where there was an underground pool. And honestly, unless it's one of those expensive, like concrete type underground pools, if it's a liner pool, forget it. I don't want it. That's what we had. At the time I was married, so my husband took care of it. I would have never been able to take care of all that. It's a mess. It's a freaking mess to take care of a pool. It's not enjoyable to me at all. And it's a hazard because if you have kids, all you're ever worried about is one of them's going to go out there and fall in the pool or something, So as an adult, now that I'm older, I'd love to have a pool. But, as a family, it was just such a hassle. The price of it, the cleaning of it, and then it's only for a couple of months out of the year. You're in Connecticut. We're not in like, I don't know, Arizona, California, or certain parts of California, I guess. Oh, thanks, Brooke. It's good to see you. James, I heard you last night on the Glare. I heard you call up on the Glare. It was really cool. And there are turtle riders everywhere, right? So maybe I'll start I don't like Facebook, guys. I have an Instagram page. It's just my name, Post Woke World. I have TikTok, which I just post to there. I don't really do anything else on it. I'm not like a big TikTok person, but Facebook, I just don't like Facebook. But I want to try to see if I can. It's probably the best place to look, though, right? Is on Facebook for turtle riders in this area, like New Jersey or whatever. I don't need like somebody to go with me. I mean, I've gone up there twice by myself So it's not like I have to have someone. I just feel like it's more fun. Although you want to make sure the person is cool too. You don't want to get stuck with people that are like, you know what I mean? Although anybody that's interested in this case and been following it, they're probably pretty cool. So, oh, yes. Yes, exactly. The water bill. Holy shit. You're preaching to the choir. Do you know how much water costs in New Jersey? It is insane. It is insane in New Jersey, the water bill. Crazy town. And it's all because the governor tried to do this whole windmill project. And instead of it working, it just made a bunch of whales beach. It's so sad. Okay. And that failed. Now, data centers are trying to pop up in New Jersey. And I'm finding out that my town's got, or my state's got some kick-ass spirit in it, because 2 of the towns so far, I think in New Jersey, have chased the data centers out. If they come to this town, trust and believe, we will kick their asses out of here. The only thing we have around here that I really don't like is a 5G tower. I'm not happy that I have a 5G tower that is within probably 100 yards of my house, and it really bothers me. There's a lot of effects from 5G that people, you want to call somebody, oh, you're a conspiracy. No, just look it up. It's, I'm so sick of the conspiracy label. Honestly, I have no tolerance for it. Because you just look into this. There's no excuse. You could, if you're interested, here's my thing. If you're interested, look into it. And then if you want to debate me on it, cool. But when you say something, and then the person's just like, you're a conspiracy theorist, instead of saying, oh, that's interesting, why do you think that? You shut down the conversation, right? And I'm a type of person, I'm trying to like come together. I'm trying to meet in the middle. Look, I'm going to have values that aren't going to change, but a lot of things I can meet in the middle and work around and figure out how we can come together. I don't like the whole division. Now, I definitely love watching Hyperbole. I love Turtle Boy. I love Auntie Deb. I love Jess Mitch. I love all that. But my instinct is always to sort of like stabilize, I guess, and be diplomatic, and kind of see everybody's perspective. It doesn't mean I don't stand for anything. It just means most things I can be flexible on. And all that means is the things I'm not flexible on, you can bet I'm not flexible on, type thing. Hey, what's up, RJ? How you doing, bud? What are you up to? Are you driving around? What are you doing? Are you driving around, RJ? I think she lives in California, though. That's the only problem. But I appreciate you mentioning her. Tapping into our aquifer. Yeah. That picture is so freaking cute. Is your dog holding like a stuffed bunny rabbit? This is so freaking cute. I can't look at that. All right, let's take a look. Hold on, I want to show you guys something here. We're going to go back to basics over here. Hold on. And let me see if I can find something. I want to show you guys something. I can find it. Live. Let me see. I'm just trying to find something here. Hold on for a second. So I didn't realize it. I had done a show about Jess a long time ago when she first came out. I talked about her. And I can find it here. Comment section. Nope, can't find it there. Seeking friends for the end of the world. Oh, well, I can't find it. I don't organize these things as much as I should. I actually asked for some help. Did you just burp right in my face, bro? Did you guys hear him burp? Excuse you. Look at the way he looks away. He gets mad. Excuse me. Excuse me, Fabio. He knows I'm talking to him. Hi. What are you doing? Did you just burp? Was that a big burp? Did you have a good lunch? Did you have a good lunch? How's life going? See, look at this is what I'm talking about right here. You see this? This right here is his foot almost, right? It's like the size of my foot, right? And that would be his heel. And these are his toes. But when he's here's his knee, and here's his knee. So if when he stood up and he walked on this, he doesn't though. He straightens it out and he's walking on his tippy toes. Isn't that crazy? Oh, do you like this is where he always has to itch on his elbow. That's actually not his elbow though, because this is his knee. I'm just trying to. I know the anatomy is different in a dog than a human, but it's just funny if you look at the way that they're set up. They really do look like they're walking around on their tiptoes. Hi, did you see him? I'm gonna give him a hug. Give me hugs. Give me a hug. Oh, I love you. I love you. Are you a good boy? Are you a good boy? What? What? No, he's going to try to eat the microphone. Oh, hey. Oh, my God. No. All right. I'm trying to get him to not do that because it's a little bit scary when he jumps on you. Hi. Not scary. It's just like startling, you know. He doesn't realize it. He thinks he's like a little baby. Hey, no. No bites. No bites. You gonna give me a hug? Okay. Oh, okay. All right. You're not spoiled at all, are you? Are you spoiled? Huh? Can I say something? Come here. Oh, I love you. Okay. I can't not give Winnie. Winnie, I love you. Winnie, I love you. Oh, good. He's going to take a nap on his bed. Okay. Oh my gosh. Fabio is about 9 months. Winston is about 4 or 5 years. Thank you. Tiptoes and fingertips. There you go. Yes, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Swiggles, what's up? Oh, King Corso. They kind of look like them a little bit, I think, right? I think they look like them a little. They're so sweet. Great Danes, they're very sensitive too. They're very sensitive. And they have no idea of their size. They really don't. Because they grow so fast, you know, it's like it doesn't give them much time to sort of figure it out. Yeah, he's not fully grown yet. He's gonna be bigger. I know. He's gonna be bigger. He's huge. He's a good boy though. So yeah, so for Turtle Boy's next hearing, I think it's sometime. I know the civil one is in July, but I'm not I'm interested in the civil one. At some point I would show up if it keeps going. But the criminal one is obviously the one I'm most interested in, and I definitely want to be there for the motion to dismiss. So I'm super interested in that. So that's what's going on, guys. And Tim Poole. Yeah, Tim Poole, that whole thing again, we talked about a little bit already, but to just zoom out on a perspective, I mean, he is a political commentator. He has been divisive in the past, not incredibly so. Like, you know, he's not a Nick Fuentes or something like that, but you know, he Tim Poole, in my opinion, in the beginning, he was part of the quote the right, what do they call them? It was that Mike Cernovich crowd in the beginning. Tim Poole, Mike Cernovich. Who was that other guy? I could never stand him. Another Republican operative. I can't remember, but Tim Poole was kind of in that crowd in the beginning. And in fact, there's a picture of him years ago with a group of influencers like Baked Alaska, Tim Poole. There's a woman who's a Canadian influencer who you don't see anymore because she said had some racist rhetoric. I think Stephen Molyneux was also in that crowd. He was in a crowd of influencers. There's a table with these people before they all kind of got bigger in 2016 and 17. And so when I see something like that, that tells me that they're formed by something larger. You can say Tim Poole got here on his own and all that shit as much as you want, but that's, in my opinion, not maybe it is to a certain extent, but I think in order to get Tim Poole level big or Candace Owens level big or Charlie Kirk level big, you have to give something up. And what you're giving up is something of value to you, and it's your integrity. Because you can't, the system we're in my opinion, doesn't allow you to get as big as Tim Poole or Candace Owens or Charlie Kirk without you giving something up, which is your integrity. The reason I believe that is because I've seen it over the years. An example I'll give is somebody named, oh gosh, what's his name? He's on X. Anomaly. Anomaly is somebody I followed for a long time. Anomaly was around before 2016 as a rapper and commentator and stuff, but 2016 he really took off. He had been originally he had been a Bernie fan, a big Bernie Sanders fan. And then when Bernie shit the bed and just let Hillary Clinton take it, a lot of people hated Bernie after that because he has no constitution. He couldn't stand up. He has no integrity. Bernie Sanders lost so much support after that, as he should. If Bernie Sanders had run against Donald Trump, I'm pretty sure all the things showed Sanders would have won, just so you know, for anybody who was wondering. But regardless of your politics, I'm not commenting on that. I'm just saying Bernie Sanders let Hillary Clinton take the nomination from him because he's a cock and a micropene. And during that time was when Tim Poole was building, his base. But over the years, you can tell he's really not aligned with conservatism. His views on the First Amendment sometimes sound really great, and other times sound like they're being controlled by outside forces. Hey guys, hey, can you? Those are just kids hanging out, by the way. They're just like hanging. The kids. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put my blinds down because they're not gonna stop. They're like talking to another dog across the street, a mile away. I don't know. Guys, we got to do this now because you guys are being ornery. I know you're just trying to protect me, but I don't want to hear the barking. So yeah, so like Tim Poole, Schmuel, I'm not a fan of Tim Poole at all. Okay. But I was happy he was hosting Turtle Boy, regardless of if I like him or not, because of the reach that he would have had. And I don't think there's anything fishy going on here with Tim Poole whatsoever. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just giving my opinion on Tim Poole. But really any commentator that'll have Turtle Boy on with that kind of reach would be great. And I hope that they do. Can you imagine if Alex Jones has Turtle Boy on? What if Alex Jones has Turtle Boy on? Yes, I am. I love Ricada. Ricada's the best. I've been following him since like when he was like the godfather of LawTube, And then we saw the arc go down, but the arc is rising back up again, and I'm very happy for him. Ricada's hilarious. Some people don't get him, I guess. I don't know. I'm sure you like him too, right? Okay, so it's gonna be in July. Okay. It's gonna be in July. Awesome. Oh, you did no way, you like him too. It's funny how the word micropene can just tie us all together. We're like, "Oh, yeah, we like Ricada. Micropene, we like Ricada." It's like an obvious thing, right? He's so funny. I love him so much. He's such a character, that guy. He really is. He's just a character. And he's so bright. He and Jimmy remind me a lot of each other because of their wit, and they're just like, I don't know. They're fun. They're true comedians, in my opinion. Oh, yeah, I remember that when he was talking about that, and he said that he was shot at and stuff, and then Candace called him out and said, "You're full of shit." So it's like, he's been roasted as a lolcow, Ricada. He might have been. That's funny. Um, if you're talking about him, I mean, he might have been. He was kind of not doing well for a while, but he's kind of back on his game right now. So I'm hoping he's. I have a soft spot for addicts. I'll just be honest. Like, that's my soft spot because I'm sober 8 years, and I know what it means to be sober, to admit to yourself you have an addiction, and to work through that and all those things. Um, that's a soft spot. I've always felt that way anyway, I guess, but I gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah, it's cool. Like, and people can feel however they want to feel about Ricada or whatever. That's funny. I did not know they had him as a lolcow. I believe they could do that because I know there were some streams where he was doing some stuff. I stopped watching him. I didn't want to watch somebody's downfall like that. And he has his own friends and family that helped him with that. Hey, but his commentary last night on Tim Pool was excellent. Yeah, exactly, and that's what I like about him. That's what I like about him, right? Good. Oh, awesome. Congratulations. I don't know who. Okay, James. Good. Well, welcome. Ethan Ralph. I don't know who that is. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. That's interesting. All right. So let me put something up here. Let me see if I can find it, guys. I really do want to show you this. I can't find it. Where are you? Oh, I might be close to it. Hold on. Call to action. I think I'm getting closer to it. I might find it. Carrie speaks out. No, that's not it. Let's see. This is it. Hold on. This might be it. This is an old video I made, but Hey guys. So let's get into it. All right, hold on. Let me see here. I don't know how much of my audience. Okay, I talk about Turtle Boy here. Do I mention? Yeah, there's no. Why do I use it? Because I know somebody inside. Wait. I wonder if they'll let me do this on here because I was able to do it. No, this isn't the one. Sorry, guys. Sorry. And that is not the one I wanted. Darn it. Let's see if I can find it. Trying to find here. Sorry, guys. I know this is dead air here. Okay, I can't find it. That's an old one. I'm not going to go through that one right now. Cute dog, but he looks a bit perplexed. Really? That's an interesting observation. I'm not sure. what you mean by that, but I'm open to hearing more about how he looks perplexed. um, Sean Benet's case is coming back into the headlines. Yeah. I'm white. Okay. We're just gonna get rid of that person. Yeah, somebody just wrote something really nasty in the comment section. I'm not sure why. Perplexed usually means, in my opinion, like if you were to ask me what perplexed means, it's like kind of confused, like kind of like what's going on? I'm perplexed. I'm confused. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. That's why I don't understand what she meant by the dog looks perplexed, which certainly he could. I wasn't paying attention. Hey, look there. Say hi. Say hi. Winnie, what's going on, RJ? Anything exciting happening in your part of the world? Yeah, I like that people when they're open about it. Okay, guys. Well, sorry, I'm a little distracted here. Okay, guys. Well, I'm a little bit tired now. There's a lot of overstimulation going on here. And the dogs are napping and I might have to take a nap. I don't know. I think I should probably go for a walk though instead. I think I should go for a walk instead. There we go. Perplexed, filled with uncertainty, puzzled. Okay. You've got a big storm raging. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Okay. All right. Then you know what? You know what we might do, guys? I haven't done one of these in a while, but we might do a house meeting tonight. I might go live and do a house meeting tonight. We really haven't had one in a while. If you haven't been to our house meetings, they're a lot of fun. We play some music. I mean, I'm not going to say what we're going to do because then it's too much pressure. We're just gonna hang out. Last time we talked about getting a goat. Okay, Bones was like, I think we need a goat for the house. Goats are really helpful. Okay. Does the dog still look perplexed? What was her name? Sola Simone, pretty. Sola, does the dog still? Does the dog still look perplexed? Yeah. So anyway, anybody who wants to hang out in the house meeting, please come join us later. James Lynch, Wellington, Brooke. A lot of you guys are already members anyway. So yes, come join us later. I'm going to schedule that in a little bit. So look for it. And we will be doing a house meeting. Maybe we'll look at the stars. Maybe we'll look at the beach. I'm not sure yet. We'll have something planned that'll be fun. Good for you. I don't know. You guys are awesome. Of course. Oh, if he's live. Yeah, let's see when he's live because I'm not going to go live when he's live. That is a good point. Only because I watch him. So, yeah, before I schedule the house meeting, I'm going to look at other schedules going on, okay? Because I don't want to conflict with people that I want to watch. You know what I'm saying? So if like Turtle Boy's on or Jazz or Auntie Deb or whatever show up, I'm going to kind of go around that or glare. But anyway, yeah. So look for a house meeting scheduled. That'll be out later. And I will definitely make sure it's not the same time as other people. And we'll see what's going on. We'll probably talk a little bit about our personality book. We'll get into the personality book a little bit more. maybe tarot, maybe jam out to some music. I'm not sure. We'll play it by ear. Whoops. He's been doing it Sunday a lot. Okay. Yeah, I'll check. Thanks for that reminder, James. Appreciate all of you. I appreciate every single person that's here listening to me. I'm always amazed that anybody wants to listen to me. So it makes me feel happy that you guys are here and we're hanging out together. It means a lot. All right, let's listen to some music, guys. And I'll pop up later. Just look for it.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with. Now they looking nervously, and I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma do it my way. Changed, man, all your music and arrangement. You don't know shit, shut your mouth, you can save it. I'm the same dude that got his come up from the basement. 100 songs, 100 weeks, didn't change it. Experiments, development, intelligence, and patience. I'll do it all again, cause I never feel complacent. Let's keep the good vibes, positivity's contagious. I'm never looking back, cause I made a life that's passionate. A college graduate suppressing all his talents, yeah. He found a way to go and change, become an advocate. For taking control of your life, go out and battle. And you think you have a dream, then act on it, get after it. Get out your head and fucking capture it. You got one life to master it. Don't give up on your future. We all start losers. We're all late bloomers. Gotta struggle through the sewer. What you say? Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma